liking the vocab word videos, partly because they tend to be shorter, and I think people are more likely to watch them. But this vocab word I just chose might take me a little more time, because it's a weird word that even on the wiki page talks about how hard it is to define. And based on that, you may already know what word I'm talking about. The word irony. And the word has been around a long time, based on the reading I just did. And over the course of centuries, its meaning has never really been super specific. But there are some commonalities that most of the definitions share. One of them, one of those traits of the word is that there is kind of a double meaning. And some of the definitions go so far as to say that the two meanings are opposite, but that's not always the case. It just might be different. And the other common trait, according to what I just read, is that there is frequently two audiences, like an in-group and an out-group, where the in-group is the one that understands both meanings, and like part of the definition of the word includes the idea that the irony is about the bonds created for people in the in-group and the exclusion of the people in the out-group. Yeah, so there's another aspect to it related to this in and out group, and that's the idea that that fate or some kind of divine influence is a factor, where that is the in-group, and the victim of the irony is the person experiencing it, like where they only understand the one meaning. It's complicated. All right, I'm gonna pause so that I can gas up my car. Back in a sec. All right. Now that I have enough fuel, gotta go. All right. So irony. In the reading that I did this morning, I didn't see any examples given. I did see mention of the Alanis Morissette song, which it then pointed to as evidence that irony doesn't really have a solidly defined meaning anymore. So, I'm trying to think of my own examples of where I might use it. But nothing is popping to mind. I'll keep trying to think of one as I'm making this video. I've never really been able to use it well, and I've never really known if other people are using it well. But one of the things that does come to mind is when it's sort of clear that it's not being used well. Like, when people take it to mean something like bad luck. Like, when, like, 10,000 spoons when all you need is a knife. Rain on your wedding day. Like hitting every red light on the way to work when you need to be on time because your boss is waiting for you for a meeting. Like that's not irony. It's bad luck. I have to admit that in my reading this morning, the inclusion of separate audiences is really throwing me for a loop. Because I thought it had something to do more with, well, all right. The reading included that there are different kinds of irony that sort of diverge from each other a little bit, but have a similar basic theme. Like there's dramatic irony, which seems to be a lot more about that multiple audience thing, like where characters in a story are experiencing something where they only understand the one meaning of it, but the audience gets the second meaning. And then there was situational irony, which I think, or like verbal irony was another one. And I think those two were kind of the ones that are most commonly used. And in those cases, expectation versus what really happened is part of the definition. but it's still unclear what qualifies as irony versus bad luck. If we take let's say going in for a job interview where you think, all right, my skill set fits really well. I've been in the industry for a long time. I have a college degree. I know what I'm talking about, and I'm good at solving problems. And then you go in for the job interview and you feel like it goes really well, but then they don't hire you. And it's not just that somebody else was more qualified. You somehow find out that it has to do with your long experience in the industry, and that it's too much experience, and they start to think you are less likely to be able to take on new information and adapt to the changes in your industry because you have such huge experience and time doing what you do. So they're worried you're not flexible enough, and they chose somebody else because of that. And I feel like that's irony, because the expectation would be that long experience would be a benefit. But then to find out it's what kept you from the job. You know what? I think that's a decent example of irony. I'm happy that one popped to mind. But honestly, I don't know for sure still, because the definition of irony is so vague. And I don't know which examples I've heard before of, like, well, I don't mean to say examples, I mean to say when I've heard other people using the word in conversation, I don't know if they're using it right or not, and I feel like most of the time it's not. So yeah, I don't know if that cleared things up for you, but I'm hoping it helps you understand when not to use it. And maybe that example works and can help you understand when to use it. But now I also feel like there are also just not many situations where irony would apply. Yeah, so anyway, I apologize for the long vocab word video, but I hope it was interesting and I hope it was helpful. Thanks for listening, and see you for the next one.